Oh boy. We're really talking about this, eh? Now look, I did not want to go out there and make this video, which probably means that I didn't need to. But this conversation was brought up on several parts around social media, and there was an article written about it, so I was like, you know what? Let's just go out there and dive into it. And there is a truck outside that is reversing, so you can hear the beep, beep, beep. I apologize for that. I can't get rid of the background noise. Today, we are talking about yet another former Chicago Blackhawk who is looking to make his return to the NHL and asking whether or not the Detroit Red Wings would be a fit. Yeah, we're talking about Jonathan Toews, baby. This show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there, check out that first link in the description to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel in the process. Jonathan Toews is now 36 years old. A guy who was a multiple-time Stanley Cup champion, a one-time Selke winner, a one-time Conn Smythe winner, a Mark Messier Leadership Award winner, an NHL All-Rookie, and one of the best two-way centers of the past 20 years. Jonathan Toews hasn't played an NHL game since the 2022-2023 season. He had 31 points in 53 games played in that stretch, just a few years removed from a near point-per-game year in 2018-19. The difference is, that year was in 2018-19. The guy was 30. And now he's 36, and after not playing NHL hockey in 2 seasons, going over to India and doing whatever treatment he needed to do to get things fixed up, now we are reading that Jonathan Toews has something left in the tank, and he wants to explore a return to hockey. This article will be linked in the description, and it goes over some comments that Toews made to The Athletic's Mark Lazarus earlier the other day. I'm not satisfied the way things ended in Chicago, Toews told Lazarus. It's not about proving anything. It's just that there's something left in the tank, and I want to explore that. I want to go have fun, have a blast, play with passion. I want to be able to step away from the game, having said that I've given it my all. The article then talks about Toews' end in Chicago, how he had himself a really long break, and how there were issues with the long-term effects of COVID, and this was problematic for him. It's not problematic for everybody, but some people in the world definitely do have those long COVID symptoms still. Toews was one of them. He didn't sign with another team, and though he hasn't played, he has never officially announced his retirement since. On November 21st of last year, Toews shared on Instagram that he had spent about 5 weeks in India for what he called a bit of a healing journey. The Athletic reported he went surfing in Costa Rica for the past couple of weeks and has skated in Arizona. Everyone just assumed I was retired, but I think in my mind I wasn't too sure for a long time. I just needed to not think about it, to give myself some time and space. Now I'm really missing hockey, and I think that's the biggest sign. I really miss the game, and I feel I have a whole different perspective and new lease on things. The article then talks about his accomplishments, and also how he was named one of the 100 greatest NHL players ever, most notably over Evgeny Malkin. I don't think there's any expert out there that has a perfect bead on what's going on with me, and I think in my situation, just going off my own feeling and my own instinct, the time away was definitely good for me, Toews said. If this wasn't in the cards and it didn't feel right, I wouldn't be pushing myself to do anything in that sense. I'm really proud of the time I took away from hockey. And so, Toews wants to come back. Whether or not he actually will be good remains to be seen, and honestly, I think it's more likely that he's not good. We've seen some of these NHL veteran guys go through longer periods of absence in the league, and then sometimes they try out, sometimes they're brought onto an AHL team, and sometimes they're really not good enough to justify a normal contract. I'm looking at you, Phil Kessel. But Jonathan Toews, you could debate, is in that boat too. Which is why we dive into this article published on RedWingsInsider.com from earlier this morning by Sam Walker. Jonathan Toews looks for an NHL comeback, and this article goes out there and asks whether or not the Red Wings would be in contention. Toews has tallied up over 800 points in 1,000 NHL career games before taking a step away from the game, and it was all by playing alongside of current Red Wings forward Patrick Kane. With Toews being out of the game for quite some time, his camp's salary ask in negotiations surely will not be high, as there's a risk factor to it. GM Stevie Y should attempt to break Blackhawks fans' hearts once again by stealing one of their all-time greats at an affordable price. For a team with a long playoff drought, what's the risk in acquiring a longtime vet who dominated in the postseason during his career? I'll tell you what's the risk. The guy's 36 years old and he hasn't played hockey in 3 years. I mean, is there really any reason to go out there and dive into it more than that? Jonathan Toews is as washed up as they come, and just because you have DeBrincat and Kane already on this team does not necessarily automatically mean that you need to get Jonathan Toews too. Why not grab Nicholas Hjalmarsson as well? Why not bring Corey Crawford back? Why not get Duncan Keith? Why not bring out Patrick Sharp, Johnny Oduya, Dustin Byfuglien, and everybody else that existed on those old Chicago teams? Just because DeBrincat and Kane are here does not mean that Toews needs to come back too. Although, I will say, as long as he's actually good, I like the idea. It's just, I don't think he's going to be good enough, if that makes sense. Like, if Jonathan Toews comes back and unfathomably is as good, if not better, than he was before, which is absolutely not going to happen. But if he is, like, as good as he was, he's getting 40, 50 points a year, if he's actually able to be a noticeable two-way force and be a top penalty killer, then okay, like, I can understand anybody getting that kind of a guy. The Red Wings getting that guy, placing him second-line C behind Larkin, that'd be fantastic. If it does work, let's do a DeBrincat, Toews, and Kane line, but there's no way that's going to work. Is anybody really thinking that Jonathan Toews, of all people, is going to be a noticeable NHL impact player upon a return in 2025, 2026? I mean, there have already been reports going out there that said that Toews would not want to be a part of a rebuilding team, so you could probably rule out Chicago, as much as Bedard and Toews being on the same team would be really interesting. You could rule that out. You could probably hope to link Toews to any sort of a playoff wildcard team or a contender or something. I don't know if a straight-up top-tier contender is going to take a shot on Jonathan Toews. Like, let's say Florida wins the Cup one more time. Are they signing Jonathan Toews in the offseason? Probably not, right? I don't think a team that is that good, that has a lot to lose, would go out there and give significant playing time or significant thought to Jonathan Toews. I'd say more of a mid-tier team is likely the destination here, considering the fact that he doesn't want to go to a rebuilding team. I guess from that perspective, you can say that Detroit fits, because they are kind of a mid-team, right? You know, right out the playoffs and everything. So maybe they fit in terms of the kind of team that Toews would be interested in signing with. But I don't know, man. Stevie Y already has that reputation for signing these kind of unnecessary contracts to older guys with the Ben Sherratts and the Comfers and the Cops and all that. Jonathan Toews, are you going to go out there and do the same thing with him? You got Patrick Kane already, and Tarasenko. What if Toews is just another Tarasenko? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this ridiculous idea of the Jonathan Toews story ending up with the Detroit Red Wings in 2025-2026. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's likely? Would you like to see it happen? I am on the train of no, bearing the idea that Jonathan Toews is actually good. If he's fantastic, then okay, great. Put him on that top six. We'll see him absolutely dominate, but that's not going to happen, folks. Unfortunately. So, I don't know. I mean, if Jonathan Toews watches this video and he's like, hey, I want to prove that Lego Rocks guy wrong. Okay, be my guest. I'm just not going to take the over on that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Jonathan Toews and his desired NHL return, and whether or not DeBrincat and Kane provide a necessary and appropriate landing spot for Toews and his services. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.